Welcome to NEXTGames' Intense Ambuscade series, April 2024, against Antican. Now this is a good month for easy hallmarks for both solo and party players, and this is the first time that we've seen this run in approximately 2 years. Now in this video, I'll first cover key item acquisition, and then go over both solo and party strategies while showing you a normal solo on my ninja using a new strategy that I've come up with, and a party example that I recorded with the members of Elemental Materia a few years ago. First, key item acquisition. Now my favorite spot to go this month is to Waypoint Warp, to Quicksand Caves, where you can immediately find many Antican nearby to get your key item. Now you can also use either Unity Warp or Voidwatch Warp to Quicksand Caves if you don't have the waypoint available. Now, on to the fight itself. Now the fight starts off against two foes. The first is a Sabotender Dulce that will be running around the battlefield. You can choose to either leave him alive or take him out, but he does not need to be killed in order to get the win. Now he will run around the battlefield, continually stopping every 20 seconds or so to do a Needles attack before continuing on. Now the amount of damage the Needles attack does depends on the difficulty you're on. On very easy, it will only do 100 damage spread among everyone in range. On easy, 1000 damage. On normal, 2000 damage. Difficult, 4000, and on very difficult, he will do 10,000 damage spread evenly among all of the people that it hits. Now due to these constant AoE attacks, the strategy I've suggested in previous years is to start by building TP on the main boss, and then to weapon skill on the Sabotender each time he stops to do his needle move until he's dead. However, this slows down your fight by a minute or two and also doesn't allow you to take advantage of the fact that the console appears to take increased damage while the Sabotender is close by. So with my strategy this time around, I recommend leaving the Sabotender alive, and the small amount of damage that he does to you and your trust will be quickly healed. This is going to speed up your run greatly while allowing you to get more damage in on that main NM. Also, keep in mind that AoE attacks do not damage the Sabotender, so using them to take him out is not effective. So now that we decided to completely ignore the Sabotender in our solo setup, let's move on to what we need to be doing in our run. The first step is to start by getting damage in on the console. After 15 to 30 seconds, the console will summon his first ad, a Bezzetto Stalwart Warrior. Now I recommend switching to him quickly and taking him out, which normally only takes a single skill chain. Once dead, continue getting damage in on the main NM until he spawns the second ad, a Bezzetto Hunter Ranger. Quickly switch to him and take him out with a skill chain just as you did the Stalwart, and then back to the console. Make sure to have your shadows up the entire time you're fighting that Ranger, as he will use Eagle Eye Shot before he dies. Next, the console will spawn a Bezzetto Magister Black Mage. As usual, switch to him and take him out quickly with a skill chain, and then it's back to that main console NM. Now if you're on the very easy difficulty, no more enemies will spawn after this point, and then you can finish off that main NM and win your fight. Be sure to take as much advantage if you can when that Sabotender stops by to get those weapon skills and skill chains in at their maximum damage. Now on the easy difficulty, an additional mob, the Bezzetto Stalker Thief, will spawn. Now he's not much of a threat, and each Antican that you kill will increase the attack of the main boss. So if you don't have shadows, I recommend you just leave the Thief alive and finish off the main NM before killing him. Now if you feel comfortable tanking and you have shadows, feel free to dispatch with the Thief as quickly as he spawns. Now he will use perfect dodge, so be sure to switch back to the main NM while it's up unless you can defeat him with your magic. Once both are dead, on the easy difficulty, you will have won. Now onto the difficulty that you see me taking on right now, the normal difficulty. Now on this difficulty, and above, a fifth and final mob will spawn, a Bezzetto Valiant Paladin, who will use Invincible at some time during your time fighting him. Much like the Thief, he's of little threat, so you can decide to leave him alive while you finish off the console with lower attack, or take him out and boost the console's attack to its maximum. Now even at max attack on this difficulty, it's not that dangerous unless Mighty Strikes is up. Be sure to keep shadows up at all times and finish him off. Now I choose to take out both the Thief and Paladin right away to be able to just focus on a single mob, but you'll have to decide what works best for your setup. Be sure to recast those shadows as soon as they are wiped by the Needles, and solo wins on normal are taking me in the 7 to 8 minute range. with easy wins taking me 4 to 5 minutes, so it really makes more sense to get those normal wins in if you can accomplish them this month. Now with a party setup, all of these same rules apply on the difficult and very difficult difficulties, but you need to take a bit more caution with some of the abilities as your magic evasion and defense may be too low to deal with some of them as you were on those lower difficulties. The console can use Sand Rush, which will do large amounts of AoE damage but is blocked by shadows, and Fettering Tackle, which is a single target knockback ability. Both of these can do massive damage with Mighty Strikes up, so be careful. You also want to watch out for Sand Trap, which can be used by the Anticans and if not resisted will petrify you and reset enmity. You can often resist this on the lower difficulties, but it can become a challenge to deal with on these higher ones. Now the one major change on the difficult and very difficult difficulties is more waves of the enemies can spawn. 2 waves can spawn on the difficult difficulty and 3 on very difficult, so as you will see described in the very difficult example, most groups will want to find a way to quickly dispatch with the Sabotender, followed by the console to hopefully have as few waves as possible spawn. Now I go into further detail in my notes on the party battle example, and it's marked on this video if you want to just go ahead and skip there now. That's about all I have to share for this month. Enjoy the rest of the battle examples and have a great month, everyone. So for this demonstration, we have Aether on Paladin, Newport on Sam, Cerveros on Monk, Larium on Bard, Lithinde on White Mage, and I'm on Ninwar. We tried many different jobs out this night, so I'll go over the positions one by one so you know kind of what works and what we found doesn't really work as well. First off, the tank position. Just don't even try it with Ninja. There are too many ads and you don't have enough group hate control. Rune Fencer did work, but Aether found that Paladin did a much better job both holding hate and managing the ads. For the healing position, you will definitely need a solid white mage or scholar to keep you alive. I would definitely lean more towards the white mage being more useful in keeping people alive in this one. The healer will have to be ready to do a mass cure after every 10,000 needles, and will also need to be ready to take some hits to the face after Sand Trap is used, and while hate is re-established. Also, don't forget, you can get silenced easily during this fight several times, so everyone should have remedies on them. Now for the melee jobs. You can go with 3 melee and a bard, or just 4 melee. I'm on arguably the job that does the least amount of spike damage, and we made it work, so pretty much any DD should work for this. However, I will say that I gave my well-geared summon a try, and was surprised how poorly it did, and ended up switching back to my ninja for more damage. Core and range also are great DD choices, as they can do damage before the Cactuar arrives at camp. Now, if possible, you want to set up a skill chain for when the Cactuar arrives at camp, but truthfully, it is really hard to set that up with the timing of everything, and the person who opens the skill chain literally has to skill chain as the Cactuar is either arriving at camp, or it needs to be a core or range opening as it's heading towards camp in order to actually execute it in time. Now the first thing I want to emphasize is that everyone must be grouped together while you fight the Cactuar at the start. If not, the Cactuar will almost always use 10,000 needles on the person who is furthest out, which will normally kill them and make it so that no weapon skills can go off before he runs out of range. Now there are 2 places that you can fight the Cactuar. If you have a range or core, you can fight him in the middle so that they can hit the Cactuar as it's running around the arena. If you don't have either of them, then I recommend you go ahead and fight in this corner, as it makes it much easier to see when the Cactuar is coming for the melees. Now we have much less time to defeat that Cactuar on this difficulty. You want to beat him in at most 3 passes, and if possible, 2. Here he comes on his first pass. Let's see if we can get him below 50%. Excellent. A 45k Howling Fist, a 24k Fudo, and an 18k Shun puts him at 33%. What a great first pass. Now here's the first set of adds. If your group can manage to kill the Cactuar on that first pass, you can in theory not have to deal with any adds. Now here we are on the Cactuar's second pass. We definitely want to kill him here, or a second set of adds will spawn. Okay, the Cactuar is dead. Now different from my solo strategy, we do not want to buff this boss. So we want to focus on killing him first, and then any adds that have spawned. This shows you the DPS we used to get to that first Cactuar. We had a combined total of about 3,500 DPS on that Cactuar. So if you're, I would say, over about 3,000 DPS, you can probably kill him in those first 2 passes. Important to note that you will see here that he goes ahead and looks like he's going to summon another set of adds. As long as that Cactuar is dead, nothing will happen. I've also heard that he takes increased damage while he is using that summoning animation. So maybe use that time to get in weapon skills if you happen to have TP ready. So multi-step, light, and radiant skill chains all do exceptional damage to the console. So we decided all just to go with light base skill chains, and we just spam those to try and get as many skill chains as possible without having to wait for our weapon skill damage. At this point I finally get my own hate on the console, and will be tanking him for the rest of the fight, while Aether continues to tank the adds. Sadly, I broke my own rule here, and after a long day of runs, I had actually run out of remedies, so thanks for getting silence off me, Lil. Sadly, here is a hate reset, and it's just after I use Provoke, so I'm without a way to get some good hate on him for another 20 seconds. This will happen continually throughout the fight, so it's a good idea for everyone to be on the ninja sub-job for durability during these situations. Here is another one of those hate resets being used with my Provoke timer still at 15 seconds. Sadly, this one does have consequences for Newport. Fortunately, by this stage of the fight, a single melee or even two going down should be okay. Just keep damaging that boss. Okay, the boss is down, now just a matter of finishing off the ads if any had popped. If only a single set has popped, this really shouldn't take that long. If 3 sets have popped, this may take some time if you've gotten this far at all. That's going to be it for the March 2022 Ambuscade Volume 1 against Anticans. I hope you found that helpful. Now I'll be releasing some additional videos this month showing how to take this on with other solo jobs. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to click the subscribe button under the video and the bell icon next to it to be notified when my future videos are released. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.